Hello, beautiful people, and how are you all doing this Saturday evening? It's a wonderful evening, and I'm glad to be here. And it's going to be an awesome time. In case you can hear me now, I want to say you're welcome, and it's Parenting Essential with Hoye Hester. Is the home of key strategies to parenting. I want to say once again, you are welcome. Let me know where you're joining me from and what platform you're joining me from. Instagram, are you there? YouTube, The Vision Guide on Facebook, or Olawi Esther Oyelayo. Where are you? Where are you joining me from? I would love to know. And today I am not doing this alone. And you're going to be seeing my guest shortly. All right, so we are talking about something very great tonight, and I'm very excited about tonight in particular. It's a very special day because today we are celebrating the girl's child. It's an International Day of Girl's Child, and I would like to celebrate all girls. You know what? I'm even celebrating myself because I am a girl. You know, we are not just celebrating their achievement, we are celebrating, recognizing their effort. Every girl's child, a lot of things are happening out there. Some are going through a lot of barriers. Some are still in some certain part of the world. Some are still not allowed to have education. There are quite a lot of things. And today is a global day to celebrate girl's child, and I want to celebrate your girl. I want to celebrate you being a mother because you were a girl. I want to say congratulations. This year theme is very wonderful. It says, the girl I am, the change I lead. The girl I am and the change I lead. That's the theme for this year, and I just want to recognize every girl out there. Every girl out there, well done, congratulations. And let's keep supporting our girls. Let's keep believing in them. Let's keep embracing their visions, their passion, their skill. Because when we raise them well, trust me, you're going to get that leader. You're going to bring out the best in them. All right, I am not alone today. I want to know where you're joining me from. I can see Visioner Temitope Kweka right there. Thank you for joining. I am going to be bringing my guest in shortly. All right. If you are a girl or you are a girl, because I still count myself a girl, you know what? I still celebrate myself. And I just want you to type in the comment section, Happy International Girls Day. Celebrate yourself. I'm celebrating me. I'm just pampering myself. And I told my daughter, I said, you know what? I'm seeing my mommy's girl and my mother's girl. You are not just celebrating you. I'm celebrating myself because I'm somebody's daughter. So I'm still a girl. All right, type right there. Or you have a girl, you are a girl, you are hoping for a girl, you want to celebrate somebody's child, just give an emoji and let me know that you are happy for the girls out there. All right, in case you're not aware again, or you're just seeing this video, it's not by accident, it's not by chance, it is ordained for you to be here, and this is called the Parenting Essentials. It is the home of key strategies to parenting. And today I have a wonderful guest that you are going to be seeing in a moment. I know you can't see her yet. I'm the only one that is just seeing her beautiful face yet. You can't see her head, but you're going to see her shortly. And today we're going to be digging deep on when two don't agree. I'm very excited about this because it's going to be an eye-opener to parents and caregivers. I believe this topic is going to strengthen home and it's going to help parents who are in doubt to know what to do in this situation. I know quite a lot of people saw this flyer and they were like, what is that? When two don't agree. What is Oye saying this time? What is Coach trying to establish this time? You're going to find out shortly. And I think you can help me bring my guest in now. Thank you, media. Thank you so much. All right, you're going to be seeing my guest. I don't know. Let me confirm if you can see my guest now. Okay, almost. Not yet. All right. My guest is joining me all the way from Scotland. I'm just going to say her name and I'm going to give the floor to her to introduce herself. All right, then we can get started. Thank you so much for joining me today. I believe you are live on YouTube. We are live on two platforms on Facebook and we are live on Instagram. So Instagram people, if you can hear me, if you are not comfortable with the way the video is, please come to YouTube or Facebook. You might not be able to see our faces properly. So we advise that you join us on Facebook, maybe the Vision Guide or Olawi Esther Oyelayo. You can also join the YouTube. YouTube is live. That is going to be much better, except if you don't mind hearing us and you're not seeing our faces very well. All right, let's check if my guest mic is on. All right, I want to welcome you, Wuraola Young, and I'm going to open the floor for you to introduce yourself briefly, and we're going to dive into the topic of the day. Thank you for joining me.
Hello, my wonderful sister, Coach Oye. Thank you so much for having me this evening. Can you hear me good? Loud and clear. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, there seems to be a delay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right, fantastic. Okay.
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay. Well, there's a bit of a lag, but I'll carry on speaking. Thank you so much for having me this evening.
Let me hear from you.
I am very
Just a
appreciative.
moment. We're just trying to.
Well, there's a bit of a lag, but I'll carry on speaking.
Okay, it's going to be fixed shortly.
Okay. I am very appreciative.
Moment. We're just trying to. Just a moment. We're going to work on it.
Okay.
I'm trying to be able to hear my guests properly. Just a moment. We're going to work on it. Okay, can I talk to him? All right. Ura, are you still there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I think it's better now. There's no delay per se.
All right. Yes. I was hearing you from my phone, so it's a delay because I was, it's all right. By now you should be able to hear me properly, and I can hear
Yes,
you
I
better
can
now.
hear you. I
All
can
right.
hear you.
Okay. Let's do it. All right. Can you
Okay,
please
fantastic.
repeat again because I didn't hear your introduction? If you can just reintroduce yourself if you have done that already, so we can get started from there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, all I was saying was I was saying thank you very much for inviting me onto your platform, the Vision Guide Coach Oye, my very lovely, beautiful sister. Your smile always gets me all the time, and of course your dimples. Your smile gets me all the time. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for having me onto your platform this evening, and I am excited about the conversation we're going to have. I know you did say I should introduce myself. My name is Wuraola Young. I am a master. I have a master's in psychology. My passion is helping people transit from where they are to where they want to be, and that could be in any area of life, whether professionally, in family life, in their personal life, or just in terms of elevating their life to a place where they find more fulfillment, joy, and can lean into curiosity and excitement. I am more into the curiosity, excitement, and joy side of things rather than, the looking for motivation and happiness, because I have learned in my work over the last 20 years leading a social enterprise in Nigeria and also project managing one here that those things are a bit fickle, but if you look more for what gives you joy and you lean into what excites you, that tends to take you further. I am a master linguistic practitioner, master NLP, and I also have a certification in doing subconscious remapping, which is essentially going into your subconscious mind and using the tool of your mind to actually get you to get to where you want to faster. So it's not just we're doing the plans and goal setting, but using the power of your mind to get the results you want. So that would just be my brief intro. I don't want to take too much time talking about me. Let's dive into the conversation we have tonight.
All right. Thank you so much. That is a lot. And I'm so excited because I know that we are going to be learning a lot from you tonight. So, to get started, tonight we're talking about when to don't agree. I know quite a lot of people have seen this flyer and they're like, okay, what is this? What does this mean? Which two and everything? So, I want you to just let people understand what we are saying tonight. Of course, I'm going to let people know when we talk about this two, we're talking about parents and caregivers. So, I want you to can you just please explain what comes to your mind when you hear parents or caregivers? What are the things, or you have what is just you don't need to explain anything now. Just tell in one word or one sentence what comes to your mind when you think about agreement in parenting or raising a child. What are the things that always ring in your mind?
The first thing that will come to my mind when we highlight agreement in parenting is that both people are looking at the same goal in parenting, the same goal, and they're looking at getting to that goal through the same path. Because you can be looking at, oh, I want to raise my child to be a scholar or to be like maybe a medical student or to have certain values, but we can be looking at achieving the same thing through the same paths. So agreement means agreement on the vision and agreement on the path to achieve that vision.
All right, we're losing a voice. I think it's from my hand here.
There was a bit of an echo, I could hear it.
Yes. And okay, you're back now. Okay. All right, we try again. Hopefully, we are. Today is happening. Nothing is stopping us. All
Yeah,
right. Okay, let
absolutely.
me know on Facebook, wherever you are. Can you hear us? Are you able to hear my guest? Bye, JJ. I see you there. Thank you for joining. Vishana Temitokwa, I see you there. Vishana Bella, thank you for joining. Please kindly confirm and let's know if the audio is okay. We're trying to work on it at the back end, but let's see. Is this something we can manage? Can we keep moving? Please, I'm checking the chat so that we can know if we are good to go. Thank you very much. Okay, because I was not able to hear everything you said, Wura.
Oh, really?
Okay. Okay, I'm sure you've said a lot of things that I didn't grasp. So I want you to just think about maybe your own parenting journey or something you can just flash back or an experience that you want to relate to this moment. It doesn't have to, okay, I'm not putting you on the spot. I don't want to sound as if I'm putting you on the spot, but I want you to think about an experience. It might not be about you, it can be something that you can relate this moment to, a scenario that people can actually understand what we are saying so that we can dig deep into the advantages and disadvantages of when to don't agree. So what
Mhm.
happens? How can it be? I don't know, maybe you have said some things about that because I didn't really hear you. I want you to relate this to an experience, a moment that you can capture that is going to give a beautiful idea of what we are sharing tonight.
Okay. Yeah, you're not putting me on the spot. There are so
All right.
many examples that can come to mind. And I would just say very briefly, can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Right. So what I had said before was that it is possible to have the same vision, but that's not enough. You must be pursuing that vision in the same way because, as they say, Yorubas will say there are many ways to get to the market. So this market we're going to, we know we're going to this market, but the family, the parents want to go to the market through the same way, right? So an example that comes to mind very easily was when my kids wanted to start school. For me, I went to a Montessori school as a child, as a very young child, and it stuck in my head because as I grew up, I exhibited certain intelligences that, oh, my sisters and my mom will say, oh, it's because you went to a Montessori school, it's because you went to a Montessori school. I'm the last child of five and they did not go to a Montessori school, so in a way I felt special. That made me stand out, or at least the things that made me seem intelligent, they associated with being having gone to a Montessori school. So when my children wanted to start school, We were living in an estate in Isolo then, and there was a massive school that most kids in the estate went to. And their dad was like, "Oh, that's the school that the child will go to." And I'm thinking, no, because the school is next door does not mean automatically that is the school for my child. So I said, don't worry, don't do the work. I will do the wahala. I will go to all the schools and ask the questions I feel is important to ask to know whether it is the best school for our child. Now, at the time, I wasn't even thinking Montessori. I just knew that because it is convenient to take my child to the school 3 houses away or within the same estate, it didn't mean that that was the ideal. So when I did find a school, it was like, "Are you ready to do school runs? This is not going to be convenient. We're both working, and all the reasons why." And I said to him, "Look, we want a certain standard, but you are thinking that it doesn't matter where they start off from." So we had to have a conversation that yes, want to set a certain standard of education, but you can't achieve that by choosing the most convenient options. At that point, we were not agreed on, is it Montessori, is it Corona because it has a name, is it the school in the neighborhood? So we had to sit down and agree that based on my experience going to Montessori, this would be ideal considering the kind of world the children will be going into. They cannot learn by rote and we expect them to be able to be critical thinkers. Montessori helps you to problem solve, to think, to patiently, look at patterns and look at how to repeat patterns to get certain results or to backtrack. There's so many elements to Montessori that I came to find out that conventional schools did not have. So in our agreement, it was now like, okay, he understands the value. Am I now willing to sacrifice and do the school runs? So we came to an agreement. If we did not come to an agreement and we went to the school that was convenient, I would have felt, should I say aggrieved, or feel like this is not what I want for my child. And for some people, that's how it is. I have somebody whose children went to what we call a public secondary school because the father insisted that's what would make the kids rugged. But she wasn't happy with that. So that unhappiness, she would only tolerate it because she doesn't have a choice. That disagreement would, what's the word now? The children would know. And in the back of their mind, they may feel, oh, I can actually get away with some things even if my partner is not happy with it. Or I I am forced to be quiet about some things even if I'm not happy with it. So those are one of the repercussions of when there's no agreement. And then my own case is an example of when we come to an agreement. And to be honest with you, I can say categorically that my girls, I've got three of them, being in Montessori for early learning was very good for them. So those are the two examples I have.
Oh, that's so beautiful. As you were talking, I heard something very important, and I want to reemphasize it. Like you said, I heard you saying foundation is very important when you know what you want to achieve. So it's not about it doesn't matter. And I'm just ringing it out loud. Sometimes we have a picture, we have the vision, but we just think we're just going to wake up and these things are just going to manifest. So just like what you were saying, you said that foundation is very important. But I'm just going to ask you something. I have two questions in what you have just said.
Mhm.
Can you advise, how were you able to say, okay, Montessori is okay for your children? Is it just because you attended a Montessori school or you think it's going to be good for every child? Another thing is, when you are at the point of my children are not going to go to the next door school because it's convenient.
Mhm.
How was it convenient for you to like make your explanation or your point known? Was it a struggle or you did some things in particular that helped you to have a clear conversation when it comes to, this is how you should see it? I don't know if my question is clear in the second one.
Yes, I understand your second question.
All right. Okay.
Um, if I wanted to make that question easy for myself to answer, I'll just say, "Oh, it's so long ago, I can't remember very well."
Okay.
But to be honest, I think he trusted my judgment
Hmm.
when it came to something like that. There are some things he just felt, you know, this is Wura's area. Ask her about it, right? Um, it wasn't convenient, and he was also sold on schools like maybe Corona and there's this other one in Ikeja, and he also has another branch, St. Saviour's, I think. It was sold on those big schools. But I felt that with my personality and how I was seeing my daughter then, being swallowed up in a classroom of 40 kids may not be ideal. So I think it was more of he trusted my judgment and my willingness to do the work of school runs and all that. So I think that was what made it easy in terms of coming to an agreement. In terms of foundation, no, I can't categorically say Montessori is best for every child. No, that would be presumptuous of me. I did my research, I had my experience, and I think what made it even easier was at that time, a friend's sister opened a Montessori school, and I was able to have conversations with my friend because her child was in the school, and I was able to get insider, quote unquote, information about how the school was running, and even being able to talk to the owner of the school and getting that comfort in my heart that this is where my child belongs. I went to many schools to scout, to be honest, many schools. The so-called big schools, I think there is a bit of detachment between the admin who you talk to and the person in the classroom dealing with the kids. For me, I felt that. And if you are dealing with small children, you want to talk to the person who will be caregiving your child. We're talking about a 3, 4 year old, right? So it's not admin staff or person that is doing registration for the children and they're looking for as many kids as possible. No, it's way more than that. So yeah, absolutely. You can't, it's like building a house. Your foundation, if it's not the type that will hold the kind of structure you want, then you have problems. You can't do route foundation or very plain foundation where it's waterlogged. The stronger you want your building to stand and for it to last, the stronger the foundation needs to be.
Oh, very
And it
well
doesn't have
said.
to be Montessori. It doesn't have to be Montessori. Let's just make that clear. It doesn't have to be Montessori.
Okay. All right. I understand that your answer, but do you think there is a place of understanding your child's learning style in everything you've said? I know this is not where we're going to today, but I know this area is going to help some people. Is there a place of considering your a child learning style before you decide, okay, this school is going to be best for this child? Was there anything like that for you at that point? Did you study the kind of child you were raising? Did you understand the child or your child at that time?
I can't say I knew about learning styles at the time.
Okay.
I think I was just comfortable and I felt my child would be comfortable in a place where she would get attention. A classroom of 12, 15, 18 kids instead of maybe a larger class. Because I know that at that time they had the class teacher and the class assistant. So maybe that's a ratio of maybe 1 to 8, kind of. So one-on-one conversation, they can see what the child is doing, they can check what the child is doing. I didn't know anything about learning styles at the time. I just wanted hands-on, somebody who is interested and able to look after my child without being overwhelmed because she's looking after so many other children.
All right. Okay, very good. And there's something I would like to say. You said it. Maybe I'm going to say it in another way because I think a lot of men need to hear this. Wura has said it already, but I just want to speak it loud. When it comes to handing our children or the house affair, it's not about being the principality and power. Particularly, I want to talk to African men tonight. I know things are
Mm.
changing, but some people are still in that space of do what I just say. You might not be here tonight. Maybe you're going to have opportunity to talk to somebody. When it
Mhm.
comes to decision making, let the person who is more experienced take the lead on that particular thing. Imagine You having an experience, you're more experienced at that time, but your husband trusted you,
Yeah,
believe that whatever you're
absolutely.
saying is right. Imagine somebody, maybe an African man, or some Asian men are like that, by the way.
Yeah.
Some Asian men, particularly some, I don't want to start mentioning countries, but I've seen a lot of Asian men that
Yeah.
just not different from African men. They say, no, you do what I say and you do that. So
Yeah.
when we are doing do what I say, just do it because I'm a principality and power. I want
Hmm.
us to always separate our children when it comes to this. I call them growing glory for a reason. And you cannot gamble with their life. That's what I was just hearing when you were talking about that. He trusted your judgment
Yeah.
because he knew that you were, an expert in that area. These are not where we are going to, but there's always reasons why some point will come up because somebody need to hear it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. That is
Absolutely.
so insightful and powerful. Thank you so much. I'm just going to ask you another question quickly. In your own opinion, I want you to know what are some key advantage when parent comes together, when they work together as a team in raising their children. What can be the advantages
Hmm.
that when you agree, when you have same vision, and you listen to each other? What can be the advantages of having a teamwork coming together on your children or your child?
I think an example that will make it obvious is I don't play football and I don't follow football, but a typical football game or match, imagine that the goalkeeper and the other team players, they're supposed to score into somebody else's net, but they now start playing against their own team. Or the goalkeeper walks off the pitch and he goes to drink water, or he's gisting with somebody in the crowd. Obviously, they will lose the match because there's no cohesion or vision in that team. And that is what can happen in a home where the parents are not agreed. What you asked me is what is the advantage of agreements when it comes to raising children?
Yes.
I think it's a harsher reality when we talk about what is the disadvantage when we do not have a unified front raising our children. Number one, children are very smart, and when they know that mom and dad don't agree, they will play mom and dad against one another. That's number one. Number two is that even though that kind of gives them a kind of leverage, it confuses them and it makes them um I don't want to use the word unstable, but mm, there's a disunity that dysregulates that child's life because they know that, and when you say agreement, it's not just that we're at the table and we agree with everything, or we are disagreeing, or we are arguing. It seeps into everything else. So we're planning a holiday, we can't even agree on where we're going to. We're going for an event, we're not agreed whether we're all going together in one car, or we're going to go, somebody's going to go from work and the other people are going to meet from the office. Disagreement seeps into the child's psyche, and the child knows that in my home there is a lack of safety that I need. The child may not be able to put a finger on it, the child may not be able to express it, but the child knows that mom and dad are not agreed in certain things, especially when it comes to me. For example, dad says go to boarding school, or mom says go to boarding school, and the other parent is saying no. And the child is standing there like, well, I don't know what really want. I'm 10 years old or 12 years old. I don't know the implication of going or not going. And then these two adults that should be in charge are not agreeing. It puts a child in an awkward position. Now flip it when both of them are agreed and they come and have a conversation with that child and say, this is the reason why we think you should go to this boarding school, or this is the reason why we think that boarding school is not meant for you. Now, the child feels safe because the two most important adults in his or her life are telling or explaining the reason why they believe something is the ideal according to their knowledge at that point in time. That child feels safe in knowing that they both want the best for me and they are both working for my best interest instead of dad is going this way and mom is going that way. And now I, as the child, I can decide to use agbari or common sense or be sneaky and play them against one another because that happens. Never underestimate the smarts of children. When they feel that disunity, they will use it. So the advantage of having a united front, being in agreement when it comes to your children, is the fundamental thing is it gives them a sense of safety. Now, it may seem like a vague concept, but the truth is, and I would really rather not use the word trauma, but that's just the word for it. When a child doesn't feel safe in their house, it doesn't have to be about being abused. Something as simple as being confident in the decisions both parents are making gives a sense of safety. And if they can't go into the world with that sense of safety, it will show up in how they show up in life. I hope I'm making sense. I think I've said a lot.
Yeah, thank you
I
so
think I've
much. You have actually said a lot, and I like the fact that you are incorporating the disadvantages and the advantages together. And there's something that you have said, and I'm going to say it again because it's very important. But quite a lot of parents don't see it that this is one of the major reasons why children can be, manipulative. You
that's
hear
the word.
parents complaining. You see some people come for sessions and you see them complaining, but you can literally say that because of the fact that they are not agreeing on some things, they have given the children power to be manipulative. In that case, I'll see that child as a victim to that situation. And these are ways that
Absolutely.
our children might be a victim to parental error without knowing. Meanwhile, the parent will be playing victim. Why will you
Yeah.
do that? Why will you tell your dad that I did this? Why will you go and say this to your mom? You have already allowed the child to, you've said that a lot, and I want to just ring the bell. And one thing that I've come to realize over the time with this not being in unity, will I say, a lot of people will not, they don't say it as unity, but it's still disunity or not working as a team when it comes to
Yeah.
parenting. Let's make it simple. Not working as a
Mhm.
team when it comes to parenting is it always allows siblings rivalry. But do you know a lot of parents do not see these things?
Hmm.
They don't know why their children are never in agreement. And I always say something, and I'll say it loud and clear again. If you see an issue or something you want to work on your children, just take a pause. Don't say a word. Have a reflection. Reflect on yourself as a
Hmm.
parent. Look at the situation. Why many children are having siblings rivalry is
Yeah.
because there is no teamwork between the parents. And you know what? They've said something to A, and B has listened to the other parent, and it's going to cause war between themselves. And I've seen
Yeah.
adults still struggling with things like this today. And I
Hmm.
just want to say thank you so much for sharing. I know you have said I asked for disadvantage, but you have been able to incorporate this too. And for those of you online, if you have any question, please drop your question. But you know that we have only a few more minutes to leave. If you have any question in particular, go ahead and ask your question. And please don't forget that when two don't agree, there are quite a lot of things that can go wrong. You're going to allow your child to be manipulative. They are going to be, they will even lack boundaries.
Yeah.
Lack of boundaries can be so wide, and it can even cause a lot of issues between parents, especially those who are co-parenting.
Hmm.
And even those who are parenting together, when they are not working as a team, it can be a big issue because this one
Absolutely.
is going to say A, another one is going to say another thing, and that will also lead the child not to respect authority because they are used to daddy saying this, mommy is saying that. I don't need to follow. And that
Yeah.
is where you got to stay. I am daddy's pet and mommy's pet because they already know. You said it already. You said children are very smart.
Yeah.
They know which button to press. They know what I'm going to say to this one that will make this particular parent feel important. And we
Yeah.
don't want to put our children as a victim, and we are blaming and claiming the victim. And it's very, very important. So
Mhm.
I would like you to just drop a point that you want everyone to take home tonight. You know, what is the practical thing that you would like our audience to take home tonight? If they're forgetting every other thing, there's something that you would not want them to forget when it comes to agreement in parenting. What would you like them to take home tonight?
Hmm. I like the fact that you mentioned co-parenting. Um, I am co-parenting at the moment, and I've been doing that for a while.
Okay.
And it's funny because even people that are not co-parenting, they live in the same house, and it's like a war zone of egos. Two grown people that have young children dependent on them. These children's lives are literally dependent on the adults who gave birth to them. The adults are responsible for the outcome of these kids. But unfortunately, what is common is the man and the woman, they are leading with their egos and not the best interest of their children.
Hmm.
They want to be right. They want the child to side with them. They want the child to come and be telling them something that happened maybe with their dad or their mom when they went visiting, and come and be giving back reports, or even within the same house, playing this thing of using the children as pawns. That's I'm sorry to say, well, maybe I'm not even sorry to say, is irresponsible behavior by adults when you use your children as pawns. You're using your children to score points. That's one. The second thing is, whether you're religious or not, spiritual or not, if you have a child, that is a responsibility that is on you, and you owe the world sending somebody of value out there. Anybody you can think of that is a societal nuisance, any politician in Nigeria that we can think of now who we are like, they're greedy, they're not looking after the citizenry. Somebody raised them. Yes, some people are well raised and they turn out to be disappointments, but the average is a well raised child with the correct values as foundation will not forget that foundation. And even in adulthood, when they remember who their parents are, the home they came from, the integrity and honesty and good morals they were raised with, they know that it would be disgraceful for them to decide to not be upright citizens in the world. So, what I would say we should take away from is your own feelings, your own disagreement with your spouse should never be a reason why you will compromise giving your children a safe growing up space. It should never be a reason why your children would lack confidence or be children that can't speak up for themselves or be confused or have all these challenges the average young person has now. There's a lot going on with the youngsters in the world because of how parents have dropped the ball. And the honest truth is on the parents. There's no doubt about it. If parents focus on what they should focus on as a united front, our children would not be jumping on the bandwagon of I am traumatized, everything is traumatic, I cannot stay in a job for 2 months, my boss is too stressful, academic is too stressful, and they're not resilient. So the most important thing is think of your children as treasures. You said they're growing treasures. Is that the word you used at the beginning?
Growing glories.
Growing glories. Think of your children as growing glories, growing treasures. Check your ego at the door and do the best you can with what you have to raise children that when you're 50 years old, 60 years old, and you look at your adult child, you can sit and have a conversation with that child. You can be friends, you can gist. They can tell you about how they are raising their own children. You can hang out with your child. It's not that your child feels bitterness towards you or you're feeling disappointment towards them, right? Think of years down the line where you would want to put your hand on your chest and say, I did my best. It may not have been enough, but at least this child I'm looking at, I am proud that I put in everything I could, and not that Owambe was more important, fighting with my spouse was more important, traveling every summer was more important. Meanwhile, I left the devices to be raising my children. kept them in boarding school just because I wanted my own free time. Parenting is not a ride in the park. And one of the things I told my husband was, it's not supposed to be convenient. You make sacrifices. That's the point. That's why it is sweet when the fruit of your labor is so beautiful. You know what you sacrifice for. Here they are, and you are joyful knowing that it wasn't easy, but I wouldn't do it any other way. Maybe better, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't trade this sacrifice for anything in the world. So yeah, that's what I would share.
Thank you so very much. See, I'm just smiling now, like, okay, it is not supposed to be easy. It is all about sacrifice. And I'm going to ring it loud. It is not about Owambe. When we are raising children, it is a time to sacrifice. And I said it, and I'm going to say it again, that when you are raising your children, there are some friends that will walk away because you don't want your children to walk away. But I have a question to everyone listening to us at this moment. What will your child or that the children you are raising now say about you in the next 10 years? What sort of mother would they say? Oh, that mom, that dad. I just want us to just take a moment to think about these things. What will your child say about you? That child that you're raising tonight, today. What's your priority at this time?
Yeah.
Some people can joke with their whole ambe, trust me. And they're going to say, you don't understand, we've been friends way back before you were born. And I said this over and over again, and I'm tired. I'm not going to be tired of saying it. You cannot keep sacrificing your children on the altar of friendship. It's my friend. It's my friend. Your friend can go. In fact, your parent can go. And some words are so big and are so difficult for some people to accept. If my parent cannot respect my own parenting, they better step out. This is how much parenting is very important. Yeah. So what do we get from when to agree and when to don't agree? I think it's high time we just think about it, talk about it, and just know that what should you do? When to agree, what are you going to get? You're going to be able to model an healthy relationship with your children. You are going to also teach them. A lot of adults are victims today, and we sit everywhere at the corner of our house, in the office, and we judge people, but we don't know what they are dealing with or what they dealt with growing up. Yeah. People see some things that we talk about parenting as, it's just normal. The child will grow up and the child will be okay anyways. No, it doesn't just work like that. Yeah. Whatever you impute into the child is going to be the output that you're going to see. Absolutely. Whatever you impute into that child today, that's going to be the adults the child is going to see. If you don't model the right relationship, an healthy relationship today, that child might grow to be an adult who is going to struggle in relationship. Because all that child has seen all his or her life is mommy and daddy are always arguing. And you wonder, some people at your office, everywhere, church, companies, whatever, business partner, you don't know why they cannot but argue. Yeah. Can't he just keep quiet? Can't he just listen first? Can't she just... It's easy for us to see all these things. But what about you taking a moment to reflect? Am I raising my child to be the same person? Yeah. I'm just trying to judge. When we say, can't you just, and you're not thinking for that person, we're already judging them because we don't know their story, we don't know where they're coming from. So that your child that you're raising today will not be story that another person is going to say,
can't you just,
what are we doing today? So it's very important for you to model an healthy relationship. And as a parent, if you model this, you are going to reduce stress for yourself. A lot of people are full of anxiety, stress. You don't just know why. Because two are not playing as team. Because two don't agree. You just be stressed out. Sometimes you can't even place it. Yeah. You just be cranky. So when you're supposed to be a parent, that's when you just don't talk to me, just move away. I know we can all be stressed. We're talking about overwhelming stress in this case. So we have to be very, very mindful of how we deal with our children and how we parent them. And it's going to help us with our own health also. You're going to eradicate stress in the house. And above all, I want you to hold this importantly, that emotional security is very important. You see a lot of children that, let's talk about adults. They are not emotionally regulated. And you don't just know why. And some of us are not still emotionally regulated. We don't have emotional sensitivity, maturity, but we are not even aware. So how do you pour from an empty glass for your
Yeah,
child
yeah,
when
yeah,
two don't agree? You're just
absolutely.
bouncing. You're just thinking in your head, my wife, my husband, my partner, my this. I just want to stop co-parenting with him right now. You're just boiling when two don't agree.
Yeah,
So these are
absolutely.
the things we need to pay attention to tonight. You've said quite a lot of things tonight, Uraola Young, and I want to say thank you so much for joining me tonight. I want to make sure that we don't have any question. Can you please check for me if you have any question? Please, if you have any question, because we're going to be rounding up soon,
Can I just say something
can
quickly
you say
about being
something?
regulated?
Okay, I think that was before. All right. If you have any question quickly, I'm just checking Facebook. Somebody can please help me check YouTube and Instagram and the Vision Guide Facebook. If you have any question, something you want Uraola to quickly talk about before we go today. But while I wait for that, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today.
Okay.
Thank you for picking my call. You know what? I just say, yeah. Thank you for saying yes to my call. And I'm
Not
sure
a
you're going to
problem at all.
be back again and again and again and again. I know there's a lot that we need to learn from you. And
Yeah.
I know I'm coming again to say, Urala, let's do
No,
this again. And
Wahala.
I
Can
know
I
you are
just
not going
quickly
to
say
say,
something
okay, I can't
about
hear
being
you. Can you please check
regulated?
for me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I didn't hear you were trying to
You-
say something.
Yeah, you said something about being regulated. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Just very quickly, is an observation I just had maybe in the last 3 or 4 months. I was somewhere and this mother was yelling at a 3-year-old because she couldn't wear her sandals.
Hmm.
And it clicked in my head for the first time ever that even me as an adult, if you shout at me, I will be frightened. Now, considering an adult yelling at a little girl, and I had to call the mother aside and say, if you keep doing this to this child, that child will become timid or cowardly, or someone who also yells at other people. Now, that dysregulation in the body system can be carried into adulthood in such a way that that person does not show up feeling like either they can speak or they become aggressive. Another case was at a bus stop. This man, the son asked a random question. The mother wasn't there and he was like, "Oh, did mommy go to the supermarket?" And the man goes, "Don't ask me stupid questions." These things are things we do without thinking about it, but we are killing the psyche of the child. Now, a case where two don't agree is when can also be when either the mom or the dad is the one that comes home screaming and shouting all the time. It is not normal for you to be screaming and shouting. Anybody you are shouting around will feel frightened, except they have a power thing above you. But anybody lower than you power wise will feel afraid, and that means all your children will be terrified. It may be you and your wife or husband that are shouting, but your children will feel terrified in that space. That your disagreement is turning your children into either terrors or timid people who cannot function properly in society. So this thing about two not agreeing is just not that you are not getting along with your spouse. That energy, that vibe in your house is raising your children. So there's nothing like I'm staying in a marriage because of my children when the silence is in your house is like the silence of the graveyard, or there's always toxicity, sarcasm, indirect abuse. It's quiet, though. It looks like people are normal human beings, but there's always something somebody is doing to hurt the other. Your children are seeing it, and just like you said, they will pick it up, and that's how they will go into the world thinking it is normal because you two are supposed to be their best examples. So, a conversation of 1 hour is not enough to cover this thing, but like you said, we all should learn that when we are saying, who raised this person that they turned out this way? You have to look back and ask yourself, how am I raising my own so that they don't turn out this way? It's very important. It's very easy to point fingers, but as they say, the remaining four fingers are pointed to you. So that introspection and letting your ego not deceive you that you're doing an amazing job. And it's not about spending money. It's not about paying for the best schools. No, don't deceive yourself. We know people who went to the best schools and they are in Yaba left because they're on drugs or they're just horrible human beings. They don't have manners, and they're the last person you want to be around. Yeah, that's my rant over. I needed to say that. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Yeah. I hope they heard me on Instagram. I hope they heard my live, right? But if they can hear us online, that's fine. No, I can't hear you. No. Technology.
Okay, Facebook, can you hear me? So I can just continue. Why? Can you hear me now? Very good, very good. All right, okay. You said something very important, and I know, I'm very sure that that statement you made, 2 hours is not enough to treat it. And I'm going to be bringing you back for that. You said something, some people, their house is quiet. Everything looks normal, like a normal human being. But deep down, there's a lot going on. And I think a lot of people are victim of the situation. And I think there is need for us to talk about when is the time to step out.
Hmm.
And I think, ladies, I know few men are victim of this, but I'll not be able to say the statistic of lady, but in my head, I just believe the statistic for the ladies is high. When it comes to, you know what, the first question people are going to ask me is it violent? Does it eat you? What's your problem? Why are you stepping away? I think this is a very sensitive discussion, and I'm going to bring you back for this, but this, we might not even do it on social media. We might do it on Zoom so that it can be in-house where we see people and we can be able to talk to create a safe space. When you said that, that just, rang a bell in my head, thinking about quite a lot of situations and people who I'm helping at the moment. And I realized that, you know what, that statement sounded simple, but it's big. It's very big. A place can be so toxic at the same time look so normal.
Yeah.
So how do we identify this, and when can we get to the limit of no, enough, I need to step out? You said something, some people say, I'm staying here because of my children. And I know a lot of people will be hearing me for the first time saying this. I'm like, no, you are a born again Christian. Why are you saying this? No, we've led the era. I believe in marriage, I believe in God, but I don't believe somebody dying there.
Yeah.
Some people are going to unfriend me today for this. Some people are going to unfriend me today for this. We can't keep on rolling this thing and just wrapping it. No. And I've said it over and over again. When we talk about people need help, even maybe your imam is not the right person to help you. Your pastor is not the right. In fact, your afa, your babalawo is not the right, because they are not professional counselors. That statement really, it struck me so hard, and I think we should deal with that and to know when is the limit, when is it safe to step away, and what are the reasons. Some people actually need good reasons for them to step away. And the reason, in my own opinion, I'll just say the reason that why they are supposed to step away is the same reason why they are saying I'm going to hang on there.
Yeah.
So we are going to come back and talk about that. Thank you so much. God bless you, Uraola, for that statement. That is just like a shock in my body. No, this one is deep. I need to talk about it. I can see you there, Madam Omotola. Thank you for joining me. Ba JJ, thank you so much. So I'm sure you all are going to see Uraola Young again. Vision Abioye, I can see you there. Thank you so much for joining. I'm not going to go to Instagram to check on YouTube, but I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. And I want to say a special thank you to Wurola Young, my guest, who is joining me all the way from Scotland. Anyways, we are neighbors. We are neighbors now. Gone are the days that I'm joining from the desert. Okay, but now I think I can be upset and just run to you and say, I want to see you tomorrow.
Honestly.
Okay, we are not like on Instagram.
Cold weather outfits.
Yes, I'm getting used. I don't know how you guys are coping, but I'm adjusting. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm sure if I call again, you are going to be glad to join me. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all the deep knowledge that you have shared today. We are not.
No worries at all.
My guest is Wurola Young, and I'm called Oye Esther. I'm the visionary coordinator of the Vision Guide Limited and Oyeyinka Foundation that we recently registered. We have launched. We are doing the work before now, but we are now registered as a foundation. So that food that you're throwing away in your house, we need it. That one plate of rice that doesn't matter to you, please save it, convert the money, and please send to us, because we are saving the children, we are saving the street. That $1 that doesn't matter to you, what if you give us that $1 to gather together to pay for the next WAEC that is coming? Hundreds and thousands of children out there cannot afford their exams. How can you be of help to us? $1 a month, $5 a month? What do you think you can do? Those coins that you have in your bag that doesn't matter, those coins that doesn't matter, it's going to help a child out there. Please put us in mind and work with us as we help the children out there, as we save a child, and as we feed the street. All right, thank you so much. This is called the Parenting Essentials, and is the home of key strategies to parenting. As we go, don't forget that we say parenting must be intentional, parenting must be purposeful, parenting must be full of vision. And that is why I say only the vision, guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. Thank you once again, Wurola Young. God bless you.
Bye,
and stay blessed, everyone. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you so very much. All right, before I go, I almost forgot. I am going to be hosting the single ladies. We had a session in July, and that one was for single in general. We had the men and the ladies. But this time around, it is just the eligible single ladies that we're going to be having on board. And it's a close 2nd of October. That is in 2 Saturdays. So registration is very compulsory, but it's totally free. I'm going to be sharing the flyer and the link by tomorrow. Once we have the amount or the number of the attendee that we want, we are going to close the link, because we want it to be a safe environment that everybody is going to get time to talk. So we don't want a lot of people on that call. So as soon as you see the link, please register and invite your friend. Eligible singles, I said it last week, I don't want in that space, we don't want like 18 years, and said no, we're talking about eligible singles, and at least be up to 23, 25 upward, up to 50 years, and you're single. And just come, let's have a safe space, let's have a therapeutic session where we can talk it out and have somebody to hold our hands. I always say, hand in hand together we stand. So I hope to see you there. Tell somebody that on the 25th of October, we are going to be talking. And I'm going to see if Wurola Young can join us. I have not said this to her. Don't think she has said yes. But be praying in case she is free to join us, because I'm sure she has a lot to share. All right. Once again, thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you again in another wonderful episode next week by the grace of God. See you then. God bless. Bye for now.